Well, hello, this is Paula Anderson, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how to code an operative report. So, the first thing that I want you to be mindful of, there are a few things that you need to understand before you actually start coding a report. The first thing is you need to understand the surgery guidelines, and then you need to understand what are some of the terminology that you need to be aware of. So, for instance, with the surgery guidelines, of course, you need to understand the modifiers. The modifiers are key to passing the surgery portion of the CPC exam. So that's one of the things that I do with individuals. I teach you how to understand and how to apply the surgery modifiers. Also, you need to be familiar with bonus procedures. So this is going to be focused on the correct coding initiative. So those edits that you actually have to make sure that you understand, because that's what the CPC exam is going to measure you on, whether or not you understand the reimbursement as well as the coding guidelines. And then the difference between a major procedure and a minor procedure. So a major procedure is normally 90 days, but if you go to the Medicare website, the Palmetto GBA, which is a Medicare Administrative Contractor for Tennessee, is going to give you what the number of days are when you plug in the actual CPT code. So the difference between a major procedure and a minor procedure, the minor procedure is 0 to 10 days. Now, some major surgeries that we talk about in our CPC review classes are from the digestive system, musculoskeletal system, as well as the female genital system. Now, let's get to the meat of this video. How do you code an operative report? So the first thing that you need to do, you need to look at what the preoperative diagnosis is, then the postoperative diagnosis. So the postoperative diagnosis is going to be the diagnosis that you will code. That's the final diagnosis. Then you want to think about what kind of anesthesia was performed. Was it regional anesthesia? Was it general anesthesia? You're not going to code for the anesthesia because the anesthesiologist is actually going to bill for that service, but you need to understand what type of anesthesia was administered. And then the procedure that was performed. So the procedure is what they actually did. And then when you get down into the detail of the operative report, you want to read from beginning to end what they did, what the doctor did, how did he open up the patient, how was the patient lying, were they lying on their front, were they lying on their back, and those terms that you're going to be looking for is supine and prone. Now, let's talk a little bit more about modifiers. So I'm going to go over at least 3 modifiers in this video to just give you an understanding of what I'm talking about. So modifier 22 is increased procedure service. Done in order to complete that procedure. So it's separate from what the original procedure is. So there's going to be a reimbursement guideline when it comes to modifier 22. Modifier 58, which is stage or related procedure. So this is where the surgeon knows that he's going to go back at a later time and he's going to do another procedure. So because it's within the global period, that's one of the reasons why the modifier is going to be required. And then surgical team. So surgical team is going to be 3 or more surgeons that's operating on one particular case. So think about maybe a heart transplant that may require multiple surgeons in order to complete that case. So you would add modifier 62 to each individual surgeon's charge so that each one of them would get paid. So this is just a quick overview of how to code surgeries. So this is one of the topics that we're going to be covering in the upcoming CPC review classes. So stay tuned for more short videos, and then go to paulaandersononline.net. That's paulaandersononline.net. Learn more about me and learn more about the services that I provide to educate and empower healthcare professionals.